We're here today with our newest Arizona drag racing legend, Mr. Bernie Lacotta. Bernie's got people have known Bernie over the years. He's got a love for racing in general, but it really started being a drag racer and included a stint in Vietnam. I know, being the wheel stand king of South Vietnam with the tugs in the Air Force. But we're happy to have you here, Bernie. Thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
So tell us, when was your first you knew you loved cars? You had to be racing.
1959. Yeah, I was 12. I picked up a hot rod magazine because I had an ad for a model car, and in it was 12 pages of go-karts. And that started, and I ended up racing go-karts on a home-built go-kart. I was like 12. Raced with Joe Amalo when he was the day he turned 16 at the go-kart track, and that was pretty cool.
So, how old were you about this time when you?
12, 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you sat low. You raced go-karts. Then when did you get into?
Well, in 1963, Pocono Drag Lodge opened up, and I saw my first fuel car there, and party was over. You
remember who it was?
Red Lang and the Dead End Kids.
Red Lang and the Dead End Kids,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and he ran a 805 or something like that, and 40 years later, we're going faster with a single 4-barrel small dog Chevy.
When you moved on, you knew you're involved with it. So in high school, what was your high school? Did you?
Car-wise, nothing really. I was I lived in a very crappy place, actually. No, it was a fun place, but no cars in high school that worth it. I never really had a street car worth a crap.
In your hometown?
Oh, Jessup, Pennsylvania.
And that's known for?
Coal. And the lack of it now.
Yeah. as such, in many cities in the eastern part of the U.S. When was your first? Tell me about your first race car. What's?
Oh, well, it was my father's '61 Chevy station wagon, 6-cylinder automatic, old stock automatic. Yeah.
Did he know you were racing it?
Hell no. And this is before I moved out here. I moved out here in '78, and I didn't really have any serious race cars back then. Well, I did. I had a '70 Camaro that in '77 I won the heavy eliminator at the Super Stock Magazine Nationals, and that was it. It was a real good race, a real good payout for a garbage car, and it was fun.
You had a lot of fun. So between that and moving to Arizona, you served our country in Vietnam.
Yes.
And what was that like when you're?
I got there the day Martin Luther King was killed, early in April '68.
And what was it like keeping track of your passion of racing when you were in Vietnam?
Well, we would get Hot Rod magazine, things like that. That was about it.
Were many car guys there? Did you find each other?
Enough. I had some really good friends. Yeah.
And then you served. Fortunately, you survived doing the wheelies and the tug trucks.
No broken front ends or nothing like that.
Yeah. Maybe hopefully we'll be able to have a picture to throw up.
Scratch pinto hooks.
Yeah. It was quite something. I'm really proud of you, Bernie. But you're a legend for that. Still, they still talk about you in Vietnam.
Right.
Yeah, crazy guy. So you were stationed at Luke Air Force Base for a while, or?
Yes. Before Vietnam. Mm-hmm.
Before Vietnam. So that was part of your decision when to move. Was that?
Oh, absolutely. When I got orders to come to Luke, I had no idea what Phoenix looked like. I imagined it looking like Dodge City on Gunsmoke. I really did. But I knew they had a national race here, and in 1968. Before I left here, I went to the Winter Nationals here. I went to Beeline a few times while I was here.
Well, what was Beeline to you back in those days when you're just? Is it?
Oh, this was heaven. I just enjoyed it, the car culture and everything else. It was cool. Yeah.
So you got out of the Air Force. You moved back home for a while.
For 8 years. Uh-huh.
And then you said, one winter you're looking at the snow, and you said, or what was your driving force?
Well, I was intending to move here eventually. Because of family and things like that, I stayed around for a while. But I graduated school in April, and I was here in May.
Were you still single at the time?
Oh no, I was married with two kids. Uh-huh.
So you brought the whole family out?
Oh yeah.
How long did it take you to get involved with the racing here?
Not too long. I didn't really think I was going to go racing again, but I ended up buying a car that I later found out was Jim Cowan's 57 Chevy, and I threw an engine in it and raced it once or twice, and I don't know. And I sold. I bought some other cars. I bought Bud Yancey's burned Vega chassis and put that together.
And so you progressed on that. I remember meeting you probably it had to be in the late 70s when you were just after.
Yeah.
And you were working for one of the bank security companies or safe companies.
Yep.
And that was you were the guy who stopped by and the speed shop I worked at, and
I had time on my hands during the day.
you made your own schedule, kind of. Huh?
Right.
Okay. So what the cars I remember, definitely you had a beautiful Corvette.
Right. My favorite car, by the way.
You had a wonderful Corvette. Tell me about that.
Well, it was. I bought it back in Pennsylvania as a totaled wreck, and I was building it as a street car. And then when Firebird opened up, I just made a race car out of it. What the hell are 66 Corvettes worth nowadays? But it was really a totaled car. Not much original fiberglass on it. So we went super gas racing, but I much preferred bracket racing, and it went a small block. It went 940s, 147s. So I was pretty happy with it.
Who were the people you liked to race against with that car? What were some of the names you remember?
Well, Bud Pickens, of course. I don't. Mel Weinberg. How could I forget Mel Weinberg? I just don't remember all the names. There were too many.
You're just too happy to be racing. You didn't care who was in the other lane. Bring them on.
Never looked over the other lane.
Race your own lane. So you had that great car for quite a while. Then you decided to. What was your next car?
The dragster. Yeah.
And what were you thinking when you did that?
It was just easier to work on. Not as much fun, but easier to work on. Mm-hmm.
And that you ran super comp with, and
actually comp with one of Bud Yancey's engine in it, mm-hmm. And that ruined me. And once you do comp, you ain't going back, especially if you don't have the wallet. Yeah.
I definitely understand that too.
Right.
That's a comp limiter's a lot of fun.
Right.
So you stayed in racing and you built some project vehicles. You've got two wonderful daughters that have gone on and done well for themselves, that are very amazing people. You got it when you sold your dragster. Were you done with drag racing at all?
No, we own. I was the primary owner of a stock illuminator car that I built.
Okay.
And that went on for maybe 10 years later.
Who drove that?
Dana House. He was my main. I won't mention the other guy. Dana House drove it.
Okay.
And my best friend, actually. And next to you, to be honest with you.
Oh.
No. There's some guys that I could not have done this without you, Dana, Bud and Tom Yancer, Bob DeYoung, Mel Weinberg. Without them, I'd still be sitting around the house,
All legends. All
absolutely.
People that we,
absolutely.
Some, we have gone up past before we could interview them, but definitely people who would consider drag racing legends among that group. So you were the proud owner of a NHRA Stalker.
Yes.
And then you said, "I'm done with racing."
Oh no! I in my 50s I started racing bicycles, and it was fun. It was competitive. I was actually state champion 3 times, and then I got to start racing go-karts again.
Well, you're kind of underplaying your bicycle stuff. You're in your 50s. You started racing, and all of a sudden, I remember seeing you go by me in my neighborhood one time, and I didn't recognize you because you lost so much weight, and you were like doing something that only people would think of, to do before they turn 50.
Yeah.
You did marathon bikes, or you did off cross country type stuff, or everything?
Mountain bike, road bike,
Okay.
velodrome racing.
So the velodrome racing, is that pretty intimidating? Explain what that is to people.
Well, when you got a velodrome, it's about as steep as Bristol Raceway. It's like watching a NASCAR race, but instead of seeing spoilers, you're seeing guys' asses. But it's pretty.
Well, I guess I just not to see too many of them. Let
Right.
more of them see you.
Right.
Okay. And then of course the rest of the biking, and you did quite well with that. And one of your daughters actually went on to work for some of the bike companies and being very
that's
successful.
her life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still ride every morning.
You're a great examples, to everybody. You've had project cars. You've built. You've done cool projects. What are you working on now?
It's been a 10-year project, building a home-built Super 7, a Lotus-based car. And it should get finished this year, but depends how many hernias I have this year.
I thought you said that 2 years ago.
I know, it depends on how many hernias I have this year.
And then something else, you got involved with your original passion, reinvigorated it, and it's what you're involved with now, and it's pretty fantastic. You want to tell us how you got back into go-karting?
Well, my neighbor just had one in his garage, and I didn't realize they were actually racing go-karts still. And it was a four-cycle, and which I like, and they were racing on dirt oval. So I don't particularly care for dirt ovals or walls, but I started doing that for about 10 years, and then I went over to the paved track, which is next door, and I thought they were going to burn me as a witch when I showed up with a four-cycle. But I realized that everybody who raced two cycles were on a Sunday. They had their engines in the shop on Monday, everybody. So I started the four cycles there, and right now the track is 80 to 90% four-cycle racing, because you need the numbers to keep the gates open. And I just started. I have guys to play with, but it's become what's keeping the track in existence.
I think you kind of undersell this, because I myself was attending a PRI, Performance Racing Industry Show, a few years ago in Indianapolis, and the guy in the booth next to me was from Briggs and Stratton, and
Dave.
I mentioned if you knew Bernie, and you really helped develop a spec class
Right.
that a lot of other tracks have adopted, and made it more affordable and more competitive. Put the back in the driver.
Yeah, compared to anything else with an engine and four tires, it's free. I mean, valve springs are $3.
That's what I explained to your wife. It's free, right? So you've done that. I know that you've had an opportunity a couple times to go back and race at Daytona Motor Speedway. What's that like?
The thrill of my life. Just driving into the tunnel is a thrill. But these engines have 6,100 RPM rev limiters. And our local track, what they call a sprint track, will hit 53 miles an hour. And the same engine, same cart, three people butted up together. We went 80 miles an hour at Daytona. While the fast cars are going 160, by the way. I'm too old to go that fast.
And so you've done well. You've raced in the seniors division.
Masters, actually.
Masters.
Yeah. Last one of the races I went to, it was called the Grand Masters, but I was afraid we were going to have to wear white hoods or something. But
Bernie,
we didn't.
That's Bernie. I love you, Bernie. This is what I hope you. If you don't get that from Bernie, you're not getting the full Bernie.
Right.
And then you've worked. You've had business supporting engines.
Yeah, I started because nobody else would sell four cycles because they weren't making money on them. But they've come around and they realize what it takes to keep the track open.
And so then you went on for the PKRA track here in Phoenix, which is still to this day, kids of famous people, famous racers bring they're out there racing.
I honestly think that our track has sent more people into professional racing than all the ballparks in the area have sent to the major leagues. I'm sure of that.
I had an opportunity out there, I believe it was last year. The COVID stuff makes a flyby with
Right.
Michael McDowell.
Michael.
What's his name?
Michael McDowell.
Yeah.
He won the Daytona 500.
Won Daytona 500 a couple years ago.
Right.
Though,
He started there.
And in telling a story that he grew up just south of the track and used to ride his bicycle to the track, and fell in love with karting, and realized it was his step to the next step into racing. And so a lot of kids have gone through and done that. He believes so strongly in it, and him and several other racers back in Charlotte
Right.
area actually built
Right.
a go-kart track just to emulate what you have at the peak area track. You've been involved with the management from time to time. You work out there. You see a lot of things going on. Question is and a lot of people worry about just racing in general and youth engagement. you think there are kids out there to keep? We still see a lot of kids coming up through racing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We're at least I would say we're 60-70% kids under 16. Yeah, it's and now and they all move up. Some of them last year they won a point series, and I think we have 5 people from our track go to Bahrain for the World Championships. So there's opportunities there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The PK area track is state lease land or county lease land?
County park land, yeah.
And fortunately, you've procured extension to your lease for
At least 30 more years.
30 more years. It's a great area for that track. It's wish we could have the same luck finding a new location for a drag strip, and we're still working on it. But if you have a chance to go out, they're always running. You have a website.
PKRA.com.
Okay, and they do their events, and they're a lot of fun to go out there and just to watch especially watch the kids. I know when Michael Modell was out there, he did some hot laps with the kids all racing around him, and of course, they were lapping him because he weighs so much, and they had a little weight advantage. But they had a great time racing with a hero.
They still talk about it.
It was an amazing night, and I think it's the closest I'll ever get to a Daytona trophy. I got my picture taken, stand next to it. Our friend Bill Goosey took me out, made sure I saw that. We've covered a lot of stuff, Bernie. What do you want to be remembered most for about your passion for cars?
Oh God, I nobody's gonna remember me. No, I'm just enjoy it. I like to spread it, the good parts about it, spread the disease. I tell everybody at the track that I'm here to spread this disease. Not that.
A good social disease.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The anything in your best memory? There's anything that racing your best race your best race ever that you like to share with us?
Well, probably I went to the bracket finals in Bakersfield in the early '90s, and they had a gambler race that night, and I think we went almost 10 rounds. I ended up winning that, and I was quite proud of that. Yeah. Couldn't race the next day because I burned everything up, but they paid me enough.
It was worth your effort.
Yep.
What do you miss anything about the drag racing?
The camaraderie. Yeah. Of course, whoever's left. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I'm not crazy about current drag racing. I just not the same. Electronics. I don't like electronics.
It's because you're not doing it, Bernie.
I know, but I wouldn't.
It's not the same without you.
Yeah.
I really want to thank you for taking the time to be with us. I know that we kind of told him 2 days or 3 days before this, so we want him here, and he showed up. People that know Bernie Lacotta will know exactly why we feel he's a drag racing legend. He's very humble, great guy, and Bernie, thank you so much for your time and spending your time with us today.
I'm just thrilled I got to sit in the same seat as Mike Hilsbeck.
Mike Hilsbeck, absolutely. A lot of great people have sat in that position. I want you to know that you are an Arizona drag racing legend.
Well, I told everybody that you called me for this, and I figured you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, but thank you. I really appreciate this.
No, far from it, Bernie. Thank you.
Bye.